feels like people are just so... I used to be like that, you know. It feels like people are just so selfish and apathetic these days towards one another. And we're so focused on tribalism that we forget to realize that we're all human beings, that everyone wants love given to them or taught to them. When I look at the US and I look at China and their food, it breaks my heart. Because we're all human beings at the end of the day, and people refuse to figure out that no race is superior over one another. I admire the Americans for their tenacity. Hell, I wish I was, in my next life, if I was born, I'd rather be a Navy SEAL. Because the tenacity of those men are true warriors. But at the same time, I cannot help it, but it brings, what I do not identify with. Nobody has to identify with the government. But the government has to do these things, or rather are forced to, because of the way that that in the past they've been through all these horrors that they've been inflicting upon each other. I've asked a couple of friends who've been to China, and some of them didn't want to talk about it. Some of them admit that the Chinese government is, repressing dissidents. But who is to say that in the Western countries, is it morally superior? No. I just recently watched a video about this journalist who kept yelling press, and one of the Minneapolis, I think it was a Minneapolis police department, they were shooting at these protesters. Now, of course, maybe it takes two to tango, right? It takes two to blame each other. But then again, no country is better than the other. It's just people trying to seek power over other people. And it's easy to blame somebody else for their problems. It's easy to blame at this person and say, hey, mate, you're making yourself look like a fool. You got your own problems. But it's harder to look yourself in the eye, in the country, and figure out what you're doing wrong and admit that you're wrong. It is necessary to go through the hardest and the harshest of times than to transition to a democratic government, because it sounds ironic, but you have to suffer first. You look at Stalin, and now, despite Putin, or rather, Putin's actually a necessary evil. There are far worse people than him out there who will immediately, if given the case, they will launch those missiles onto UK and everybody else. But for now, what right now we need is for people to be left to their own devices. If the government is bad to their own populace, let their own populace sort it out. We do not have to intervene. We do not have to intervene for Taiwan. We do not have to intervene for but it is a tough subject. But at the end of the day, if the government themselves just tried out a different matter of approach, maybe war can be averted. Because no one ever wants to see a nuclear war. Even those who have no hope, who want a nuclear war to happen. Even the elites don't want a nuclear war. But they think they can control it. They are afraid, but they need it to happen. But if we just realize that this is not what we want, that we're fighting over arbitrary borders, arbitrary identities, I'd say that, well, it's up to us. It's up to us. I do not know about God, Jesus, Muhammad, whatever is controlling us spiritually out there, but I do know one thing. We have to do this ourselves. We have to help ourselves. We have to put in the effort to not blame each other, but support each other. Otherwise, we're as good as dead. And there's no point even bothering. If we cannot change, if we do not like to change, unfortunately, well, I do not know how to respond to that either. I never could quite get that.